State Farm, Bloomington, Illinois.
Cowboys are on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Well, the Houston Texans have made another addition as they have re-signed linebacker Neville Hewitt on a one-year deal for special teams guy. Former Texan Jadeveon Clowney has a new home as he's signing a 2-year up to $24 million deal with the Carolina Panthers. And it's opening day tomorrow. Don't forget, the Blitz will be live from Circle Las Vegas.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That ball is history. A walk-off home run.
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Dad? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me this evening, whether that is on 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, where you can listen in the AA Best Bail Bonds audio player, or if you're part of the YouTube gang. That's right. By in the bullpen, jumping off early, Goldfinger 123, Fred Robert Casares Jr. I see everybody in there already at SA Sports Star on YouTube. Just search, go ahead and like, subscribe. You can comment along with the show. Real, everybody, y'all the real ones. And it starts early because it has to. You can follow me on X, Instagram, all that stuff at I Am Pledger. Follow the station at SA Sports Star, and you'll notice there's a video there. And it's a video of me talking about how the Cowboys are run by idiots and morons because what they're doing potentially makes no sense. And by saying no sense, everybody's like, get rid of Dak, get rid of Dak. And as a matter of fact, in the YouTube chat, Fred Robert Casares Jr. says, trade Dak to the Panthers. My post wasn't about Dak in a sense of you got to do everything you can to keep him. Now, I am of the belief that you better have a bird in hand before you jump off that plane because it ain't always pretty. But my point was the way that the Cowboys general manager, owner, brass are handling the situation in terms of the fact that Dak's going to play out the final year of his deal. Or it seems as such. And then they talked about, as it pertains to Dak and where things stand, you know, the big money quote about, you know, locked and loaded. Well, Jerry?
From Dak wants to do any and everything he can on and off the field to help us win. And so we are where we are. We have our contract. We're locked and loaded for this year. And we can see as we move along how we are thinking, we inclusive of everybody here, us, Dak, and we'll see what we do. I don't have anything to report today.
So, nothing to report today. Doesn't mean that something can't get done by August, like Jane Slater told the Blitz last month. But the fact of the matter is, if you do let Dak go into this prove-it year, you risk losing him for a compensatory third-round pick, where if you got out in front of things, you could work a trade, talk with Dak, talk with his people, find out where he wants to go. There are multiple teams that could use a Dak Prescott. We talked about it yesterday here on the show. Minnesota, Denver, whatever, name said team, and you could recoup firsts, seconds, maybe a first and a third, whatever it would be, but it would be higher than a compensatory end of the third round pick that if he leaves on his own free will, which he will be able to, and it's very hard to pay everyone, as Jerry has told us numerous times. And I understand that. And maybe the best way to win is with a quarterback on a rookie deal. Now, that being said, how close are we to players dictating where they want to play? Well, if you listen to Deion Sanders on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast, maybe closer than we think.
Top 4. Ooh, that's pretty beautiful. Anywhere from 1 through 4. One of them is going to be 1. And the latter one would not go behind 4. Now, all this is subjective because I know where I want them to go. And let's not forget Shallow, okay? Mm-hmm. But I know where I want them to go. So there's certain cities that ain't going to happen. It's going to be it's going to be an Eli.
It's talking about Shador Sanders, the quarterback, and Travis Hunter and his other son, Shiloh, the defensive back, saying there are certain teams that he don't want them to play for. Well, the problem is in a draft, you can't really do that. With John Elway, he at least had the ability to fall back onto baseball, as did Kyler Murray. Eli, just a power player because of his dad. Let things like that get out of control. Otherwise, the draft just now turns into free agency, and teams only go where they feel most comfortable. Now, Goldfinger123 says, Texans, one of them cities? It is not. He mentioned them. Surprisingly enough, I'm not sure if you'll be shocked by this. It's literally everywhere he played. It is Dallas, it is San Francisco, it is Atlanta, it is Baltimore. So, those were the cities that he had mentioned. And you want to put on our tinfoil hats? Let's put on our tinfoil hats. Maybe this is Dak's last year. They let Dak play it out. Deion controls the narrative on where Shador ends up playing. He ends up playing for Jerry in Dallas. Is it any coincidence that McCarthy and Dak are both going into the final year of their contract along with the entire rest of the coaching staff? Could it be a package deal with Deion and Shador? Everything lines up mathematically if you talk about contracts, outs. Prime said he'd rather stay in the college game, but that was when the college game was different. The college game has become more pro than anything, and the fact with the portal and NIL and everything that you have to compete with in college football, it is a 365, or in this case 366 since we're in a leap year, job, because you're always recruiting A, your own guys, B, guys from other teams, and C, guys from high school to come to your team in the first place. So you're constantly recruiting at every level in every direction and constantly scared that people are going to poach your own guys. Does that make the jump to the NFL more palatable for a Deion Sanders, who is close with Jerry Jones? Has listed them as one of the teams he would like Travis or Shiloh or Shador to play for. And if you get a Shador Deion combination, think about the hype that would bring. Colorado was 4-8 this year. And nobody could stop talking about the Colorado Buffaloes. You don't think that's just something Jerry dreams about? They're already in the media all of the time. You could just amp that up to 30. That is steroids on top of steroids with muscle builders in terms of the coverage that this team would receive if Prime was your coach and his son was your quarterback. We've already seen how it played out, and it worked really well for Colorado. Attendance is in an all-time high. Enrollment is in an all-time high, and they got out of a dying Pac-12 conference and jumped into the Big 12 and are probably in the best place that they've been in the last decade. Goldfinger 123. Is this a carrot? It might be. It might be a little something that they're throwing out there to test the waters. It's something that I'll test the waters with when we talk to RJ Ochoa coming up next, who has not been fond of what the Dallas Cowboys have been up to. And I can only imagine what yesterday's news has done to poor RJ Ochoa, the co-host of the Morning Huddle and the managing editor of Blogging the Boys, and most importantly, the former co-host with myself of the Saturday Morning Hangover. That's right, it is a Saturday Morning Hangover revival right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure as RJ Ochoa joins me next. And after RJ, I'm going to have some corn tickets that I'm giving away right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure. That is right. Corn is coming to the Frost Bank Center, and I've got your tickets to go see them. After RJ Ochoa, I'll be giving them away. They are coming with special guests Gojira and Spirit Box on October the 21st out at the Frost Bank Center. Tickets online at livenation.com if you don't win them. But coming up, Morning Huddle and Blogging the Boys right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Nothing beats March Madness. The pure sound of a swish, the rattle of a slam dunk, the fans on their feet for the big moments. And the action just keeps getting better until a national champion is crowned. Hear all the action with Westwood One's exclusive coverage of the NCAA men's and women's tournaments right here
on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star and San Antonio's ESPN 1250.
At GiveMeTheVin.com, we pride ourselves in being America's best car buyer, bringing top dollar for your car with an online process that's fast and easy. But you might not know that we've got a special interest in buying your truck. Luxury haulers, workhorse diesels, or just your favorite pickup truck, we specialize in putting the right money on your truck for longer than anybody. Go to GiveMeTheVin.com today and get your check on the spot from America's best car and truck buyer.
Sell us your car. GiveMeTheVin.com. So easy you can do it in your underwear.
Ulta Beauty's semi-annual beauty event is happening now. Unleash your love for beauty with 50% off daily beauty steals on hair, skin, makeup, and fragrance. Shop your favorite brands like Tarte and Fenty Beauty by Rihanna. Plus, grab perfect hair care pairs from brands like Redken and Olaplex. And check out new arrivals from brands like Charlotte Tilbury and Dyson. Shop the Ulta Beauty semi-annual beauty event online, in-store, or try pickup today. Now through March 28th. Ulta Beauty. The possibilities are beautiful. Conditions apply.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. A letter in your mailbox says you could save money bundling your home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. You saw it after your teenager backed the car into the mailbox. Dumb news. A new mailbox, basically a box on a stick, costs up to $400. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and go with paperless mail instead. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
I spray and scrub, but the soap scum in my bathtub is still there.
I spray and scrub, but the burnt sauce on my stovetop sticks around.
Sprays can leave grime behind, but new Mr. Clean Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser combines the scrubbing power of an eraser with the cleaning power of Dawn to melt away tough messes on contact.
Just wet, squeeze, and erase.
Stop spraying, start erasing, and clean with more magic than ever with new Ultra Foamy Magic Eraser.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
Jake from State Farm. I just beat my running PR, so I'm celebrating with the Banana Bonanza smoothie.
Hey, and you can keep celebrating when you create an affordable price just for you by bundling your home and auto with the State Farm Personal Price Plan. Go bananas.
I will. Hey, make it a large.
Bundling, just another way to save with the personal price plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state.
Sneezing, coughing, stuffy nose, runny nose, postnasal drip, interrupted sleeping. I was groggy at the end of the day.
Allergies and sinus congestion were making Jana miserable. Then, a friend recommended Navage. Navage provides immediate drug-free congestion relief, flushing your nasal passages with refreshing saline and sucking out mucus, germs, and other airborne irritants. Navage helps you breathe easier, sleep better, and feel your best right away.
Navage gave me instant relief. I didn't have to wait 30 minutes. I didn't have to wait an hour, 90 minutes. I didn't have to wait a minute. I ran the rinse and I felt better.
Stop suffering from congestion and start breathing and feeling your best again with Navage. Navage.
I've had people ask me how I find relief, and I tell them Navage immediately. This thing is amazing.
Navage is available at Navage.com or at Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and Rite Aid.
When it's time for the March Mania brackets to bust wide open. As I was saying, it's mad. The Mania of March at BetUS.com is all about those buzzer beat bonus offers. And when the madness starts and Cinderella man steps onto the BetUS always has your back with back-to-back 125% sign-up bonuses on your first 3 deposits and even 10% gambler's insurance. BetUS.com Sportsbook and Casino, where the game... Join today. BetUS Sportsbook and Casino, where the game begins.
Injuries happen, and when they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics and Spine. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, dislocations, sprains, and strains. Conveniently located in the Corey area with extended hours Monday through Saturday with on-site x-ray casting and bracing, Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no urgent care or emergency room copay. Learn more on .com.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's got to be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
Save big during MVP's bonus days at Lowe's with limited time deals on everything you need. Right now, buy one select DeWalt 20-volt max tool. Get one DeWalt 20-volt max power stack battery 2-pack free, a $179 value. Plus, save $20 on a select bucket of Deck Plus wood screws. Find these deals and more in-store and online today. Because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows pros. Valid 3/18 through 3/29 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
San Antonians love a good party. And the Valero Texas Open is one you don't want to miss. Enjoy food, drinks, and the world's best PGA Tour pros as they tee it up at TPC San Antonio. Proceeds help us continue a long-standing tradition of giving back to our community. So buy tickets on ValeroTexasOpen.com and join us April 4th through the 7th.
Check out the 2024 Basketball Mayhem at SASportsStar.com. Enter your best bracket for the chance to win an incredible $1 million prize at SASportsStar.com.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 941 FM, SASportsStar.com. I am James Pledger, and I am happy to be joined, and in a sense you could say rejoined, you've had a rough go of it this offseason as it pertains to the Dallas Cowboys. I feel like the Cowboys almost have you in a place where the Texans had me last year before C.J. Stroud and D'Amico Ryans and everything else when we were dealing with the David Culleys and the Deshaun Watson situation and the Lovie Smiths and the possibility of hiring a Josh McCown and Jack Easterby. Like, the apathy I had and the just dead to the worldness that my team made me feel. It feels like you're bordering or infringing upon that territory with the Dallas Cowboys this offseason.
That might be the most empathy that anybody has expressed to me lately. I would offer, I have a working theory that there's no worse team to be a fan of than the Dallas Cowboys if you're 45 and younger, because you did not get to enjoy the benefits of the 90s dynasty in an adult way, right? Like maybe if you're near the very end of that spectrum, you have some memories, but you were a kid, you were a youth. You didn't get to go out or whatever, celebrate the way you would want to as
You were
as
middle
a
school,
young
high
adult.
school.
Yeah, I mean, even if you were high school, I'd probably give it to you. But if you were middle school or south of that, you didn't really get anything, and your memories at this point might be really, really, really far in the past. And so, for the most part, for most of your adult life, or all of it, you have only dealt with being the meme. You have only dealt with being the joke. You have only gotten the negative associated with rooting for this team and none of the positive. And it is the most polar negative that you could possibly get, obviously, when it comes to any team. And that's where I would argue it was a little bit different for you in that, people aren't as anxious to dunk on anybody when the Texans lose as opposed to the Cowboys.
RJ Ochoa, the Morning Huddle. You can catch him and Rob Thompson every weekday morning from 6 to 10 right here on San Antonio Sports Star. And you can read him as he is the managing editor of bloggingtheblues.com. RJ, yesterday, Ian Rappaport damn near broke the internet with his weirdly worded tweet about the Cowboys and no deal and likely to see it setting up perfectly. What did you make of Ian Rappaport's tweet? Because it was very vaguely worded and almost kind of hinting.
Yeah, I did find it strange in that it didn't really feel like but it was seemingly important enough for Ian to get the breaking graphic made by the NFL media department. So, I mean, and I trust Ian. This wasn't, a random one-off report or anything like that. So for it to come from him, I think, expresses the significance of it. Whether you think it's truly significant is obviously a different thing. But, I mean, this is, it's amazing that we're right back here. I mean, it's amazing that,
with
in the last, with Dak and the contract and the situation. I mean, this is now 5 years that the Cowboys, 3 times in 5 years, 4 times in 5 years, if you count, like maybe 4 times in 6 years, ahead of the 2019 season, the 2019 offseason, they had a chance to get a contract done. They didn't do it. That was, obviously the final year of his rookie deal. 2020 had a chance, and granted, there were some extenuating circumstances to say the least, but didn't get it done. 2021, congratulations to them. They did get it done in 21. They paid him the richest contract in franchise history, even when he was coming off of a shattered ankle. That's how important of a player he is. And here we are again, 4th time in a 6-year span that the Cowboys are messing around and gonna find out. It's unbelievable that they cannot learn this lesson and they cannot figure this thing out, and they cannot be like any other competent NFL team when it comes to paying the most important player on your team.
I also found it very weird because it feels very, for lack of a better term, ass backwards in handling a situation. Because if you are truly going to let him be a free and clear free agent to the market, and we just saw what that meant for Kirk Cousins, to not think that Dak Prescott would not only command more, but significantly more interest on the open market with the amount of holes at quarterback for teams across the league any given year. Why, if you're hell-bent on either letting him play out his final year, are you content with possibly only getting a compensatory third in return if you lose him, than instead possibly seeing if you can work out a trade with his people and a list of teams that he may want to go to for he and his agent to maximize the value of losing him potentially, if that's truly what you believe as the owner and general manager of the Dallas Cowboys.
I mean, that's an amazing question. You know, I'm obviously I'm against moving on from him, but if you do want to do it, or if you did want to do it, the best way to go about it was exactly how you just outlined. I mean, and what's more is the hypothetical third round comp pick that you would seemingly get for him if he did walk in free agency wouldn't even happen until 2026.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So like it's so far away that it is almost meaningless at this point in time. And they might get a deal done, but they are flying so close to the sun in the process of doing it. And that's what's frustrating, is that they have not realized that being proactive in any way, shape, or form, whether it's with the deal or the example you just laid out with, you know, talking to him and working on a deal to move him and trade him because you do feel like you're going to move on, that's not who they are. And that isn't, you know, just specific to this particular discussion and this particular player. I mean, I would challenge you, find the player who they were proactive on in a way that made sense. Yes, they got the Zeke deal done ahead of time, but that was exacerbated by the fact that he held out.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they gave Jalen Smith a brand new contract ahead of time. We're talking about an off-ball linebacker. So literally the most ineffective way to be proactive. But when it comes to them getting in the ring with somebody and having a negotiation, they wait until the very last second, and then they wind up paying more. I think the world of DeMarcus Lawrence. He is so underrated. And he gets a lot of criticism because of how much he's paid. He's definitely overpaid. And he's overpaid because he won. The Cowboys thought that they would be slick and franchise tagging him not once but twice, and they left him in a position where he had all of the leverage. They left Des Bryant in a position where he had all of the leverage. They placed the franchise tag on him, and they let DeMarco Murray walk in the process. They've obviously now done it with Dak 4 times in 6 years, like I said. There is not a player or a contract except for Tyron Smith, who was like the that you can look at and say, wow, they did a great job of looking at the market and kind of extrapolating what it would be like in a few years and getting ahead of the curve. I'm a big fan of Howie Roseman, which sucks. And you look at, he paid Landon Dickerson, obviously, before free agency began. And it was a big-time deal, and he's probably overpaid. But what happened a week after he got it done? The guard market blew up. And Howie Roseman is elite at his job. So he knows that. He knows, you know what? I've got to pay a little bit more than I feel comfortable with right now. And I'd rather do that than pay a lot more than I feel comfortable with in a year because I waited and tried to get a bargain.
RJHO, the Morning Huddle, and Blogging the Boys joining me here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. What's the most impactful thing to come out of the owners' meeting so far this week, in your opinion? Because it felt like there were a lot more actual rule changes, rule adaptations, use of the eye in the sky and how it's used. Like there was a whole lot that came out of this year's owners meetings that felt like more than in previous years.
I think it's probably a new kickoff. I agree with you that it felt, you know, like we got some significant change relative to most, you know, meetings that they have every other year or whatever. And because they changed the play. I mean, they made something that was dead completely and totally alive. And so that will, you know, there will be a game that is swung on a kickoff that, you know, wouldn't have happened if not for this rule change. And that's a really seismic thing in a league where there are only, you know, whatever it is, 272 games now, now that they've added the 17th game for everybody. That's a big deal. I mean, there's a potential playoff spot that will be won or lost because of that hypothetical game. And so I think that's the biggest deal. The hip drop thing is, you know, I think a work in progress. We need to see how it's going to be officiated. All the roster manipulation tactics are interesting. I do think something that probably didn't get discussed enough, maybe it even flew over your head, although you're a pro, so probably not. The Lions had a proposal that got submitted that you automatically now get a third challenge if you win one.
Yep.
You no longer have to win both challenges to get a third. That is something that makes complete and total sense. You shouldn't be penalized for a 50% success rate, and you know, something that was potentially the official's fault. So that is something that will also play a key factor, obviously, late in the game when, you know, something's getting real tight and tense. And so those things are really interesting, and I think going to obviously show themselves up as next season gets closer.
And lastly, RJ, there's been a lot of talk about the Spurs and Wemby on the morning huddle, and I did hear after they beat Phoenix the other night the talk of the potential that this team just plays better without Wemby for whatever reason. To be fair, they do have 3 wins against the Suns this year, 3 of their 16, 2 of them were with Wemby. So, I I don't take too much from that game, especially a game where you're coming off of housing that same team and now they're without their best player. I think depending if Wemby plays tonight or not will be more indicative of how they play without him, but it it does feel like this team doesn't know how to move the ball with Wemby. And part of it is Wemby because he does turn the ball over quite substantially because of his skill set and his ability to be able to create off the dribble. And sometimes that opens him up to some turnover worthy plays.
Yeah, well, first of all, I'm still really mad at the Spurs because the first, opportunity you and I each had to see Wemby in person, they got housed.
Yeah.
So they owe us. I think you and I need to write a letter.
But the thing is, I would have been more happy with what I saw on Saturday because I got to see Wemby than a win and not getting to see Wemby.
I agree with that, but I'm like ultimately it's not a big deal. I think it's barely any kind of deal. But I do think it's at least interesting. I mean that they've managed to pull these things off. Now they're 2-7 with Adam. So I mean, if they were 7-2, then I think this is like a way more legitimate conversation. But it was just so interesting, because it was an apples to apples thing, because it was the Suns, in a span of 3 days that you had these 2 games happen, and so it was just kind of weird, that it kind of unfolded that way. And even then, they did beat Phoenix obviously on Monday night, but I mean, they almost blew that game. They did everything in their power to blow that game. So it's just going to take time. I mean, Wemby is this, he's a new sun. I mean, you know what I mean? And so like all of the planets have to like fall into proper orbit and, establish their new gravitational pull around him. This isn't just adding a new player or even a new all-star. You're literally adding, one of the most dynamic, gifted, physically, imposing players ever in not just Spurs history, but NBA history. So, I mean, the fact that it's taking even, probably more than a full season isn't surprising. It's weird. It's frustrating, and our patience is running thin. And so I think we're all just reacting and lashing out the way I am with a lot of things these days.
He is RJ Ochoa. Be sure to catch him every morning with Rob Thompson on the Morning Huddle, 6 to 10, and read all of his work at bloggingtheboys.com. RJ, appreciate the time as always, my friend.
Pledge, you better watch tonight's episode of Survivor.
I'm in.
All right, good. I expect you to tell me who went home tomorrow.
I've got you. I'll let you know.
Sweet. Later.
Later. That is RJ Ochoa. The Morning Huddle, weekdays, 6 to 10 in the morning. Ian Rob Thompson, and of course, the managing editor of bloggingtheboys.com. I told you we were giving them away after RJ. Now's the time. That is right. Korn is coming with Gojira and Spirit Box on October the 21st here to the Frost Bank Center. And I've got your tickets thanks to Live Nation. Tickets available at livenation.com if you don't win, or you can just be caller number 10 right now at 210-656-ESPN. That is 210-656-3776. If you want to go see Korn, Spirit Box, and Gojira, October the 21st at the Frost Bank Center. When we come back, we're talking about those San Antonio Spurs and what we've seen from them lately without a Victor Wembanyama. That's all coming up right here, plus your phone calls on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
94.1 San Antonio Sports Star is your home for college basketball's national championship.
On their way to their 12th national title game.
68 teams, Sweet 16, Elite 8, the Final Four, one winner takes all. Hear it all on your home for March Madness. 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star, presented by Westwood One.
Getting your biggest tax refund from Jackson Hewitt can lead to some spirited reactions.
Jackson Hewitt!
Jackson Hewitt is so sure they'll get you your biggest refund that if they don't, you get your money back plus $100.
Jackson Hewitt!
Switch to Jackson Hewitt and we'll beat what you paid last year, even if you filed online. Ain't nothing to it. Switch to Jackson Hewitt and pay less for tax prep, guaranteed. Proof of prior year payment required when filing. New clients only at participating locations through April 7th. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
And now another no-brainer money-saving tip from Progressive.
That doesn't sound good.
Paper shredder's jammed, but I think I fixed it.
Oh, well, try shredding these $50 bills then.
Seems like it's working.
Better try another $400.
Stop. Instead of using money, use regular paper. And here's a better tip from Progressive on how not to waste money. Don't pay too much for car insurance. Drivers who switch and save could save hundreds. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Potential savings will vary. Not available in all states.
Did you know that your overall health is impacted by the condition of your teeth? Hi, I'm Dr. Andrew Mueller, Chief Oral Surgeon at Doctor's Implants.
I was diagnosed with periodontal disease.
I definitely avoided tubes.
At Doctor's Implants, we understand the importance of having a healthy smile. Replacing your failing or missing teeth with full mouth dental implants can be a great way to improve your health.
The 6-Hour Smile is a permanent full mouth teeth replacement. Your new smile will be custom designed to fit your face and lifestyle and will look and function just like regular teeth. You won't need to remove them from your mouth overnight, and you won't need adhesive to keep them in place. Eat freely and smile confidently again. Research them at doctorsimplants.com. Receive a complimentary doctor's consultation and CT scan when you call 210-640-0000. Again, that's 210-640-0000.
Home of the 6-Hour Smile.
Texting enrolls you in recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym for a while.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone.
Lower T.
Yeah, I went through it a while back. Once you hit 40, your body has less free testosterone. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The patented key ingredient is something called Testofen, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean. And I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text.
Text Sizzle to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T, the #1 selling testosterone booster at GNC. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast. Absolutely free. Text SIZZLE to 42424. That's Sizzle to 42424.
Hey, poker players, the Big Blind is open. With a true Vegas feel, the Big Blind is the premier poker room in San Antonio, featuring an upscale environment catering to players from all abilities. Whether you are seeking high-octane tournaments or lively cash games, the Big Blind has a game for everyone. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road, just down from the Rue Pub, offers daily cash games to daily, weekly, and monthly tournaments. Learn more online at thebigblindsa.com. The Big Blind at 281 in Redland Road.
Some days I cover up because of my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis. Now I'm hitting the road with clearer skin thanks to Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. With Skyrizi, 3 out of 4 people achieved 90% clearer skin at 4 months. And Skyrizi is just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist-prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZZI to learn more.
Hard work and dreams lead to success, but easily filing your taxes with TurboTax and Credit Karma doesn't hurt either. Make filing taxes a walk in the park, because we'll pre-fill your info for you so you can file quickly and confidently. Winner! Get the peace of mind that comes with expert help. Let's go! Being powered by TurboTax means you're backed by the leading tax preparer, and we'll show you all your filing options up front so there are no surprises. File your taxes on Intuit Credit Karma today. Expert help not available with all products. Guarantee details available at turbotax.com/guarantees.
San Antonio is Aggie country. This is Andrew Monaco, and you're listening to the home of the Aggies, 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. Man, phone's lit up for those Corn tickets. And we've got tickets all week long. Be sure to stay locked in. After today, Extra Innings going to be preempted by the NCAA tournament over the next 2 days. But we will have those tickets to give away. I'll make sure that the Blitz gives them away for you. So stay locked in right here on San Antonio Sports Star. If you want to win tickets to go see Korn, Gojira, and Spirit Box on October the 21st out at the Frostbank Center. Appreciate everybody for joining me tonight here on Extra Innings with Pleasure. As you know, I was thinking about that Korn thing, and phone lines have been blowing up. I remember the first time I saw Korn live. It was at the Family Values Tour in '99 at the Alamodome with Limp Bizkit and Power Man 5000. It was a dope show. But Korn, I've seen them recently actually still bring it to this day. So obviously a worthy attempt to try and get those tickets. But the San Antonio Spurs getting set to tip off here in about an hour and 20 minutes as they are in Utah to take on the Jazz. And of course, if you want to be a part of the conversation, you're always welcome here at 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. I know it's been a rough season for the San Antonio Spurs as we try and take away from this season any sort of positives to build towards the future. And one of those positives, unfortunately or fortunately or whatever the case may be, is Victor Wembanyama. He is the beacon in the middle of the night that gives us hope. And it is now about supplementing around him. And we've said it, these final 10 games, what the entire season has been. The first half of it was trying to figure out what works around Victor, how it best build around Victor. That's why you saw Keldon move to the bench and all the moves that have coincided with Victor Wembanyama going from 3 to 5 and the different machinations of how the Spurs have fiddled with their roster, inserting Trey Jones into the starting lineup. Now, over these last 10 games, people are playing for their job because I do believe we're at a point with the Spurs where they've seen it. They've got a good idea. They are now making decisions for the future of this team. And one thing that the San Antonio Spurs cannot do this offseason, in my opinion, is what the Dallas Cowboys have done, which is nothing. By trying to run it back again with the young talent. And most Spurs fans are Cowboy fans as well. I'm not sure that that would be good for the city, good for the organization, good for anybody involved. You've got the money, so it's not like Jerry saying we don't have the money to be able to do this, even though he does and can create the money. You got to use your cap space. You've got to bring in some veterans to fill out around him. You've got to bring in shooters. You've got to bring in people that can space the floor around Victor Wembanyama. And yes, Frank Mateo, I know that you are a Commanders, not a Cowboys fan. I wasn't speaking on behalf of everybody, just the overwhelming majority of San Antonio Spurs fans. But you've got to get people surrounding Victor that can knock down an open three, that can space the floor around him for when he moves into the paint. Like those are things that are going to be essential as this team moves forward and trying to build around it, in my opinion, because there's a lot that you could do. You could add superstars. You could do this, that, and the other. You could add a bunch of workmen like vets. But more important than anything is adding shooting. Shooting is going to be extremely necessary. And you've got a handful of shooters, whether it's Jeremy Sohan, Trey Jones, and a lot of these guys are on the floor at the same time together that don't shoot over 32% from 3-point land. And it is a detriment to them offensively in a lot of the cases. What say you? 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Drew, what's going on, my man? Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure. What you got for me?
Oh, Drew, I can't agree with you more. I want some advice to give these because, like they said, I saw a headline on Express News. It was on the Twitters, and it says what the team hopes to accomplish in the final 10 games, as if it really matters. But let's say it matters. It does matter to some of you guys on this team who might be listening right now. Let me give you some advice. I want you all on this team who have missed all the most open shots. Like you were talking about the street coaches, it's mostly been open shots, and you still stink. So you can work on the offseason shot. But right now, what you can do for the next 10 games, go get some like old tires and hang them up around the hoop around, I don't know, 9 feet, 10 feet. And I want to see if you all can just throw an entry pass about 9 feet, 3 feet, 2 feet, 1 foot away from the basket. How about that? Because you don't even have that skill. It's not about trying hard. That's all we hear now. Tryhards. We're the San Antonio tryhards. Yep. It's about talent. And the talent is all you got to do is shoot open shots at a above 380 percentage. There's only one guy on the team doing that he got traded. And then you can just play some defense and pass the ball to the big guy. Because the word's out. It's 10 games left. Put Wimby in or don't put him in. Every team already knows you collapse on Wimby. You give Wimby some credit. He's got these numbers that he's put up that are astronomical. And on one for like 80% of this year. So all you guys out there who are trying to compensate, you want to believe that the coach isn't used up. He's used up. You know, it happens. He got used up. You smoke a cigarette long enough to get used up and you dispose of it. I have my frosty beverage right now, and I'm going to drink it. It'll get used up. And when I say it gets used up, it doesn't mean I hate the beverage or hate my cigarette. It's just a fact of life. I don't hate pop, but you're used up. You're not any good. You can't solve this mystery all year. You get prepared. And the GM who put this team together, I don't want you picking anybody anymore. Get rid of you immediately. And that's the first step. If they get rid of you immediately, we know you're sailing in the offseason in the right direction. You pledge. But that's some advice you can do. Put some tires around the goalpost, around the backboard. If you could just get an entry pass in, it doesn't look like a water drill, like a Chinese. I don't want to use that word. That's like for boating. I'm trying to be PC. I can't use that word anymore. Yeah. But you know what I mean? It looks like you guys. That's like day one stuff. I don't care. The season's over. We're done. We got the greatest player in the game right now, in my opinion, for the next 10, 20 years. And all we got to do is get people who could shoot above open shots, above 380, pass the ball in, and try on defense. And for God's sake, I don't understand why these people on this team, when they take their shots in, they just give up all their energy on the defensive end. They just give up energy on defensive end. They have no energy on defensive end. Not one of them has any defensive energy. It's like, sorry, man.
It's all good, Drew. Listen, Drew, look, I think you, Spurs fans, some Cowboy fans, they're all in a very similar situation right now of being stuck in the misery that is what the Spurs have been over the last 5 years when they have been so used to competing at such a high level. And it's going to take some time to get back to that. But they have the opportunity. As Frank Mateo says, Spurs have help coming, most cap space in the league, most tradable talent, young tradable talent, and a treasure chest of draft picks. The Spurs will be contenders soon. That is the hope, and that's why, Brian Wright, you're on the clock. You say, Drew, that you want to see Pop go. Brian Wright better prove something to me because he has not to this point. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. I am James Pledger. We're going to put a bow on the show coming up next as the Houston Texans opened up a little more cap space the other day. What could it possibly be for? We'll discuss next right here on Extra Innings with Pledger on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Progressive presents good news, bad news, dumb news, then great news. Good news. While leaning over the fence, your neighbors said you could save money bundling home and auto insurance with Progressive. Bad news. Your neighbor leaned over a little too much and broke your fence. Dumb news. Somehow fence wood is more expensive than wood. Great news. You decide to see if you could save money bundling at Progressive.com and to plant really tall shrubs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and other insurers not available in all states.
Savings. Now that's speaking the Lowe's language. And with my Lowe's Rewards, your savings just keep coming. Save money with member-only offers and earn points when you shop. More points equal more rewards just for you. Because Lowe's knows you earned it, literally. Learn more about our new loyalty program at Lowes.com/MyLowe'sRewards. Program subject to terms and conditions. Points are awarded on eligible purchases. See Lowes.com/terms for full details. Subject to change.
Flight by Yingling. It's the next generation of light beer. For those who don't follow trends, but craft them. Flight by Yingling is 12 ounces of uncompromised refreshment from America's oldest brewery. With only 2.6 grams of carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Don't just raise a glass, raise the bar. Flight by Yingling. Available wherever beer is sold. DG Yingling & Son Incorporated, Pottsville, Pennsylvania. Please enjoy responsibly.
If you're a man and you live in San Antonio or the surrounding areas, you need to pay close attention to what I'm about to say. Are you having issues rising to the occasion? Do you constantly worry about whether or not you can perform? Have you completely stopped having adult time? Is it something you just don't talk about? Guys, we have a solution. Mojo, the 100% guaranteed male enhancer pill that designed to reignite passion, performance, and confidence in the bedroom. Yeah. Be ready at a moment's notice with the Mojo Male Enhancement Pill from Pure Line Nutrition. And for those of you who have used Mojo, check out Mojo Enduramax. Touchdown! A new formula that improves the potency and effectiveness of Mojo. Get fast results, last longer, and be the man she'll never forget. Mojo and Mojo Enduramax, 100% natural male enhancement formulas, only available at Pure Line Nutrition. Call now, 210-494-2210. That's 210-494-2210. Or visit us online at thepureline.com.
Guys, did you know your testosterone affects everything in your system, including how you feel and perform every day? Right now, Revive Men's Health San Antonio will check your testosterone for free. Knowing your T levels is the first step in understanding if you have low T. Your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED. Maintaining an appropriate T level can change your whole life. Most men start to see changes in their hormone levels in their 30s. Experience and results matter. So what are you waiting for? Get your T levels checked today by local, experienced, and trusted men's health experts. They've helped thousands of men since 2011. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Call Revive today and schedule your free testosterone test, free exam, and free consultation. Call Revive Men's Health at 210-615-7777. That's 210-615-7777. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
If you've been thinking about buying a new car or pre-owned car, truck, or SUV, think Ancira.com. Browse through thousands of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, SUVs, and RVs. Shop for your next new Chevrolet, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, Ford, Buick, or GMC. Or if you're looking for an import, we have a huge selection of Kias, VWs, and Nissans. Or for your home away from home, a full line of RVs and campers. And you'll always get the lowest Ancira price, in store or online at Ancira.com.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Did you know one of the best investments you can make? It's in yourself. At My Computer Career, in just a few months, you can start your new career in the high-demand, recession-resistant field of information technology. Isn't it time you invest in you and start a career in networking, cybersecurity, AI, or upskill to boost your current IT career? So get the ROI you deserve at My Computer Career. No experience necessary. Start now at mycomputercareer.edu.
Financial aid is available for qualified students, including the GI Bill.
African Americans are the most likely to die from colorectal cancer. The most important thing you can do is get screened starting at age 45. Insurance companies are required to cover not only colonoscopy, but also virtual colonoscopy and other less invasive exams. Talk to your doctor about your options. For more information on virtual colonoscopy, visit radiologyinfo.org/virtualct.
Furnished by the American College of Radiology and the Radiology Health Equity Coalition.
Welcome back into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me this evening. We get you home. Update. Victor Wembanyama, good to go. He is playing tonight against the Jazz in Utah. So Wemby will be out there. So if you want to catch that game, watch some more Wemby things before he goes away for the summer and gets ready to play with France in the Olympics. But the Houston Texans have been doing things kind of in the background. Everybody freaked out when they didn't really make a massive move on day one. Then the Danielle Hunter game came down, and everybody started losing their mind, talking about the Joe Mixon trade and how good of an offseason they were having all of a sudden. And so, according to Aaron Wilson of KPRC2 in Houston, at the owners' meetings in Orlando right now, he says recurring themes from the NFL executive owners at the meetings regarding the 2024 Texans outlook. These are quotes from executives and people he's talked to. The team is loaded. They are really good. They've got a great young quarterback in CJ Stroud. D'Amico Ryans turned that team around. The Texans are going to be good for a long time. Caserio did a great job with free agency. And they might not be done yet. That's the most shocking thing is they converted $6.4 million of Shaq Mason, the Pro Bowl guard's contract, into cash for them. So what do they do with something like that? Well, there's a multitude of ways they could go. They had the money, so unless you're opening up money for a bigger name, like, I don't know, maybe a Justin Simmons at safety, there's not a lot on the market that would dictate you opening up that amount of cap space. So could they be making a move at one of the big time safeties still on the market and an obvious position of need for them? Could they be looking to swing a trade and bring on a bigger contract? There have been trade rumors of Derek Brown, Carolina defensive tackle, another place that they potentially could use some help. And then the other option is they could be looking at bringing in more weapons for CJ Stroud on offense, those being either Brandon Ayuk or T. Higgins, who are looking to possibly get out of their situations. T. Higgins, I'm not sure. At least with Brandon Ayuk, you know the system, so it would be a fit for him schematically, coming from San Francisco into Bobby Slowick's offense. But this receiver draft is so deep. I'm not sure that I want to spend that kind of money on that position, especially when you're about to have to pay Nico Collins, unless you're bringing in a Brandon Ayuk to basically be able to say goodbye to Nico Collins after a year or two. What say you? Always welcome in the bullpen down there in the comments section on our YouTube channel. Fred Robert Casares Jr. says that he hopes Keldon Johnson doesn't start or come off and just comes off the bench. I get it, man. It's going to be great. Everybody have a wonderful evening. We will talk to you next week. I will be.
This is SportsCenter.
I'm Doug Brown. Another big money contract for the Dodgers. Catcher Will Smith agrees with the team on a 10-year, $140 million extension. Smith made the All-Star game for the first time last year. Reds second baseman Matt McLain will start the new season on the injured list.